Podcast. My name is Brianne, also known as Being Brianne on Ravelry and Instagram. Today is Wednesday, September 5th, 2018, and this is episode number 89. I am so glad that you're here today. I have a lot of things to talk about. I think it's going to be really fun. I have old segments. I have a couple new segments. I have contest winners to announce. I have fun things to talk about. It's going to be a really great episode today, so stick around. If you're brand new, I'm so glad you found me. It's going to be a good it's going to be a good episode today. And if you're a returning viewer, I'm so glad that you came back. That makes me very happy. So last episode I had a YouTube contest that I was running, just talking about what would you like to see on the show more of. That's not very good English grammar. What would you like to see more of on the show? There you go. And I got a lot of really good answers. There were, I think I had 14 or 15 people respond. So I'll be drawing a winner for that later in this episode. But there were a lot of really good answers. So to kind of go with that, I've added some new segments. And I've kind of revamped some others. And I have some questions I'm going to be answering as not just in this episode, but in future episodes too. Just things that people wanted to know about. So we'll do that. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is family news. New one for us here. People said that they wanted to hear more about the everyday workings of our family. So I shall talk about that for a minute. School is going so awesome. It started a couple weeks ago, and everybody loves their teachers. Everybody's doing so well. Owen is my oldest son. He is going to be 15 this month, which I have a lot of feelings about. I have all the feelings about this. So him turning 15, oh my goodness, can't believe it. He's going to be legally permitted to drive once he gets his permit, which blows my mind. I don't know that we're quite there yet. We'll see. But he is especially flourishing in school. He is in 9th grade, so it's his first year of high school. He is being so responsible and just has really turned a 180 as far as his school career is going. Last 2 years, we struggled a lot with homework and with being a responsible student, and even though he got pretty good grades, it was just very difficult for us to manage getting schoolwork done outside of school. And this year he tells me that he has homework right away. We have a routine after school where he can take a 20 or 30 minute break just to kind of get his head ready for, the rest of the afternoon, to kind of take a little mental break, maybe watch a video or play a game for a little bit or something like that. And he came home from school yesterday and was like, I have homework I need to work on, so I'm going to just take my break later. Is that okay, Mom? And I was like, yes, that's fine. You get your homework done, son, if you want to. And he was like, okay, thanks, Mom. I was like, who is this child who's thanking me for letting him do his homework first before taking a break? Who is this? I love it. So that's awesome. I love seeing him grow up. It's just really a special thing. And he had a situation that he told us about where a friend of his from choir, they were ordering special choir shirts. And his friend, her family didn't have enough money to purchase the $20 shirt. And so he took it upon himself to purchase the shirt for the friend, to give them the money for that. And Brian, offered to purchase both of the shirts for him. And he goes, no, Dad, he goes, this is what I save up my money for, so I can spend it how I want to, and this is how I want to spend my money. So that was really special. That was just I love seeing he's just so generous, and he's a very loyal friend. And he's not a boy that has a lot of friends. He's not, one of those really popular kids that has, 15 kids that he hangs out with all the time. He has a couple, but he's so loyal to them. And I think that anybody who became his friend would be really super lucky. So I'm lucky to be his mom. Um, Ailish is my 11-year-old daughter. She made it into drama club again this year. Hooray, hooray. And it's so funny because last year when she was in drama club, in both plays, she was a deer. You know, like a deer that frolics through the forest. So funny. But she told me, she goes, Mom, I am good to go in drama club just so long as I'm not a deer this year. And I was like, well, hopefully that'll happen. So she's doing really well. She is, she doesn't have homework ever. She gets it all done in class. So, you know, her time is hers basically after school, which is fine with her. She's got plenty that she likes to do. So, and then Evan is my 8-year-old son. He has been so sick. Oh my gosh. He fell sick on the 5th day of school and was out from Tuesday till Friday. He was gone the rest of the week. And then he ended up coming home from school again the next Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it was. He got strep again. And it was just like, we took him to the ENT, the ear, nose, and throat doctor, and he's getting his tonsils out this Friday. Like, as in 2 days Friday. So, yeah, my goodness, we'll see what happens with that. I'm really hoping that this helps to keep him healthier for longer. Owen got his tonsils out last December, if you remember, and he really has only just gotten little minor colds since. He hasn't really gotten sick since then, and I'm really hoping that happens with Evan too, because, oh my word, it's just ridiculous. It drives me crazy. And it's so hard because, like, he got home from school last Monday with a packet of homework to do, and it was like 12 pages of schoolwork that he needed to get finished that he had missed out from Tuesday when he left during school through Friday. Too much work. That was not fun having to supervise. But, you know, I mean, what do? You have to get it done. Okay, that's the family news. Yay! So let's talk about what I'm working on as far as knitting. So I put a couple of rows onto this project, but I just wanted to show it. I did not get any huge progress done. But these are my Stony Brook sock blank socks. They look like, well, it looks like this. It's just one sock now. So it's not fake, it's just it. But it looks like this. And here's the back. And these are being knitted off of sock blanks, a sock blank that my mom Stony Brook dyed with the help of Peggy Doney from the 100th Sheep out of Colorado. And knitting off of a sock blank is really interesting. I don't know if you've ever done one before, but you can see it's just a knitted rectangle, and if you look, you can see where if I pull on this string right here, the loop. I am so sorry I got interrupted. Phone call. It's the perils of recording with a phone. Okay, so here we have, you can see the loops unravel themselves. Okay, and then this string here is what you're using to knit this. See how they're connected? And I think that this is so beautiful. I love the colors. I love the pattern on it. I love how it's kind of making like little random stripes on the sock. I don't especially know that I care for knitting with the coiled up ramen type noodle string. It's hard, makes it very difficult to tension the yarn. And what I'm finding is that the gauge on my sock is, the feel of it is very different. The fabric of it is very different. So, I don't know. I love the look of the sock. I think I'm just going to try and power through. The other thing that I'm trying to think is, do I want to unravel the sock and then unravel the sock blank and wash the yarn and see if it'll take some of the kink out of it. But I'm just not sure that it will, because it has been knitted for so long, and I don't know if I would damage the yarn. So weigh in and tell me what you think. What should I do? What would you do if you were me and you were knitting this? Honestly, I'm like maybe 1.5 inches past the toe increases on this sock. So if I decide to rip back, it's not like I've lost a lot of work. It's stuck on my on my thing here. So tell me what you think. What should I do? What would you do if you were me? So that's that. That's the Stony Brook Sock Blank socks. Probably won't see a lot of progress on those until I figure out what I want to do. Next, the thing that I have the most progress on, excuse me, are Brianne's Christmas 2018 socks. So here I have this sock. I don't have a second sock. I just have the one because I work my socks one at a time. And on this sock, I am ready to start the shaping of the heel. And so I've knitted, on these socks, I knit the toe, and then I knit 75 rows, and then I start my heel increases, my gusset increases, and then you turn the heel. So I am done with my increases, I'm ready to shape the heel. And I'm really loving this sock. It's going by so quickly. The stripes, you know, it's just like, I just want to hit another stripe. I just want to hit another stripe. So it makes it really nice. You know, you get to see the progress, which is excellent, always motivating. So here we have the Cascade Yarns Heritage Prints. That's the yarn that I'm using. This is color number 46. And I got this from the Village Yarnery in Springfield, Missouri, which is about, I don't know, maybe 45 miles from where I live. That's probably the closest really true local yarn store to me. I live in Branson, which is south of Springfield, Missouri. And yeah, it's a cute little yarn store. They've just been open for a few years, and they have a nice selection of things. So this is going to be for my husband Brian, and I love, these are just really good hard wearing socks. The Cascade socks wear really well, so hopefully he'll really enjoy these too. I have knitted on these like a ton. Not like a ton, but when I've been knitting, I've mostly been knitting on these because I enjoy them, and I want to get to that, past that heel turn, so that I can just fly up the leg of a sock and get it done, and have a second sock hopefully on the needle soon, so I can get a Christmas present out of the way. Hooray, hooray. That's my saying today, apparently. Hooray, hooray. You're welcome. All right. The last thing that I've been knitting on, which is really truly, it's really just like the tiniest little bit of a thing. It is, I started Touchstone by Laura Ayler. Let's see if I can find a picture for you. It'll look like this. Not a very good picture since it's just in black and white, but it's just it says a simple triangular shawl knit on the bias in an easy to memory garter and eyelet pattern. Skills required: increasing, decreasing, yarn overs. Yo, I can handle that. I can do that, people. I pulled out my Perfect Process shawl so that I could use this instead. So this is literally all I have. It's the tiniest little thing, I'm telling you. It is maybe, what, 1, 2, 3 inches tall, maybe 2.5, 3 if I'm being generous. But it looks like this. I am using this Dream in Color Classy in the My Fair Lady colorway. And it looks like this. You will see that this is hand-dyed yarn, and it is very different. The colors between the two skeins are very different. And so I am alternating these yarns, these balls of yarn, so that I can make sure that I don't have any kind of like funky color changes going on between, you know, like if I worked this skein of yarn first and then went to this skein of yarn, I would have a definite marked line of where I change skeins. I don't want that, so I'm just alternating skeins between the two. You know, you knit back and forth on one, you knit back and forth on the other. And that's a great way to make sure that you don't have craziness happening, crazy stripe happening halfway through your project. So let's see. So that is that. It's probably gonna end up being smaller than what hers is. The shawl, excuse me, the shawl says that you need, well, it says the sample used 660 yards of a DK weight yarn. So 660 yards DK weight, but I have like 500 yards of a worsted. So we'll see what happens with that. If I end up being short on yarn, it's no big deal, right? I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. So it's a little bit shorter than I thought it was going to be. No big deal. I can handle that. If it doesn't work for me, it'll work for somebody. That's kind of my thought on knitting, is, you know, if it doesn't work out perfect for me, then it'll work out perfect for somebody else. I have lots of people in my life who are knitworthy, and so I'm happy to pass along things to them. The last thing that I'm working on is this. This is from October House Fiber Arts. This is a grab bag of fiber from them. I'm sorry, it's been a hard few nights with Evan. He's very anxious, and so sleeping with him, or he's been sleeping with us, so not getting a lot of sleep. No. So this is 4 ounces plus or minus of, it says a colorful and random assortment of spinning fiber. So I had been spinning from a beautiful, beautiful braid of fiber that I got from Lisa Souza at Yarn Fest in Colorado last year. And it was a 50% merino, 50% silk blend. I don't like spinning with that much silk, apparently. It was not pleasant. And I loved the colors. The fiber prep was great. It was beautiful, beautiful fiber, but it didn't make me happy. And every time I sat down to spin on it, I just, it like made my heart feel cranky is the best way that I can explain it. Like, I just became like this curmudgeonly woman who, you know, wanted to yell at people to get off her lawn. You know, like it didn't bring me any joy at all. And so I decided, I pulled it off my wheel. I honestly hadn't spun that much of it. Not very much at all. And so I pulled off what I had on my wheel, which, like I said, wasn't very much at all. And I got one of these. I, you know, pulled this out of my, fiber stash, which isn't, I don't have a ton of fiber. I just have some, but, I said, I'm just gonna try something, you know, we'll see how I like this. I've never spun like a grab bag of things before, but I pulled this out and started playing with it. And like, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be feeling. This is like, I just decided that I just don't care for that much silk, and it's too grabby, and it's not my thing. I wanted to love spinning with it because I wanted the beautiful yarn to come from it, but I don't love it that much. Not to be unhappy for as long as it takes me to spin, because I am not a fast spinner. So, so I pulled out one of these. It was like purple and a little bit of this yellowy color. And I started spinning, and like instantly, like Brian was like, your face is so happy. And I felt so happy. And it just like, I felt like my whole like countenance changed. Like everything felt, everything felt so different. It was so beautiful, and it just spins so lovely. And I'm so excited to put this together and make something beautiful out of it. I mean, look at these colors. How fun is this? So my plan is that I'm going to split these in half, not like tearing them in half, but like do like 7 bumps and 7 bumps, and then spin them, and then do a 2-ply and do something fun with that. So I don't know what it'll end up being when it grows up. I have no idea what it's going to end up looking like. However, I think it's just going to be gorgeous. And I'm super excited to see what happens with it. So, I mean, look at this fun green. Isn't that so fun? And I mean, this I want to wear it right now. And this blue, oh my gosh. Her colors are just amazing in general. I wish I had purchased more things at her booth at DFW, because that's where I got this from. But, you know, there's only so much money, and there's only so much space, and you have to just figure out what you want to do. You have to make choices, people. So I had someone ask what I spin on if I do any spindle spinning. I do not spindle spin. I have tried very unsuccessfully, incredibly unsuccessfully. And not that I was, any kind of spinning prodigy when it came to like learning how to spin on my spinning wheel, but I was a lot more successful. I was a lot more successful on my wheel than I was on a spinning spindle. Supported regular drop spindle. I tried several different kinds that Mom had, and it just didn't work out. I have a Ashford traditional that Mom got, and she passed it down to me when she started having ankle problems, and so she ended up getting a Hansen e-spinner, and I would love to get one of those eventually. My drive band has been giving me a lot of problems, and my wheel is just, I don't know, it's over there. I'm looking at it right now. I'm thinking about it and looking at it. It's a good wheel, but it just has, a few little things that I think it needs a little bit of tender loving care. So I'm going to try and do that before I spin on it next. But I love my Ashford traditional. Mom finished it. She actually bought it off of somebody on Craigslist. It had been in an unfinished state in like a shed. And so she found this wheel and purchased it for like $50, $75, something like that. And brought it home, cleaned it up, got it, finished it. And it's beautiful. She did a great job on it. And she ended up passing it down to me when she got her Hansen. And I just really enjoy spinning on it, especially when I have the right fiber, apparently. Okay, what I finished. I finished this, people. This is the Raina shawl. And I think what's really interesting is, I would take it off, but I'm kind of attached here. I wonder if I can do this. Here we go. The fascinating thing to me is I used 2 skeins of yarn for this because it was made to be like an equilateral triangle, I think. And I ended up making it into an elongated triangle. But so I used 2 different skeins, but if you can see, if you look at it, It's darker up here, and then as it goes down, it gets lighter and lighter in both skeins. Isn't that so funny? So it's kind of like a fade. What? It just makes me very happy. Things that I would do differently. I probably would have continued. I still would have made it, if I make it again, I would make it an elongated triangle, knowing that it's going to take forever. That's just the way it's going to be. However, with my increases along the top edge, it calls for a knit 2, yarn over, and then you knit through. I worked my yarn overs. The next round, I knit them through the back loop. I would not do that again. It just made this kind of tight, not as elastic as I wanted it to be, this edge. And so therefore I ended up with some, let me see where I can find it, it's better. You can see how it kind of curls here towards the ends, and I probably would not do that again. So I would just work that yarn over as a regular stitch the next time. I wouldn't knit it through the back loop. I did enjoy making this. I liked the colors, but you can see it's rather long, and it just seemed to take a very long time. Also, I don't know if I did the bind off incorrectly, but it does roll. Can you see that? So I think maybe I did the bind off incorrectly. So I might do a different bind off next time. But does it bother me? No. Does it bother me enough to fix it? No. If I blocked it really severely, would it probably fix it? Possibly. Do I have the space to do that? I don't know. I'm talking a lot in questions now. That means it's time to stop. So in any case, time to stop speculating. Time to talk about the yarn. I knitted this out of Happy Feet 100 Splash from Plymouth Yarn Company. This is color 107, which is Tuscan Spice. I meant to bring a pair of socks that I knitted out of this in colorway. It is mostly cream with the maroon and green splashes, like speckles here and there, but it's mostly cream. So that just goes to show you that for sure, if you're knitting with a hand-dyed yarn, that it's really important to alternate skeins, or to make sure that your skeins are similar enough that you can do that without it looking funky. Because had I had you know, one skein of that mostly cream and one skein of that you know, the heavily speckled one, it would have looked really weird. Okay, I can throw that away now. So this is a new segment of the podcast called Never Mind. This is where I talk about things that I have frogged. Frogging is where you rip back a project to either start over or to just decided that you don't want to knit it anymore. And so I decided that I was all done with my winter rose mittens. For those of you who remember, those were my colorwork mittens that I started, the ones I've been planning for years and years and had the yarn for years and years and just never started. You know, I did not love them. I did not love the process of knitting colorwork on fingering weight yarn, and I wasn't ever going to finish them. And if I did, I wouldn't care for them. I could have given them away, but I wouldn't have enjoyed the process. And I'm very much, I need the process of the knitting more than I need the finished object. I could have given it away, but if I don't love the knitting on it in the moment, then I don't really enjoy what I'm doing, and that's just not fair. So I decided to frog those. I was not very far in. I was maybe 4 inches into the first mitt, and so that's gone. It'll be something else later when it grows up. I also, as you can see, I frogged my Perfect Process shawl. That's the one that is now going to be Touchstone. I did not care for it. I had made some mistakes, and I wasn't sure how much I would love the finished object. And so I just decided to frog that and start over. So there's plenty of things out there to knit. I really don't need to knit on something that I don't care for. And it's not even that I didn't care for it, I just wasn't loving it right now. It's a nice pattern. I just didn't love it right now. So that's, never mind. Now I'm going to talk about Gilding the Lily. I don't actually have anything to show you because I just ordered it, but I do remember I showed you my Molly Weasley socks, the yarn that I got from Nomadic Yarns. Yeah, I ordered Arthur Weasley too. So here's what I want to do is I want to have Brian have the Arthur Weasley socks and me have the Molly Weasley socks, so we can have like adorable matchy socks. How fun would that be? I love the Weasleys in Harry Potter. Love them. Love them. And I can't wait to see what happens when I get those. I showed him the yarn. And I was like, what do you think of this yarn? He goes, I want socks out of that. And he goes, what's the name of the colorway? And I said, it's Arthur Weasley. He goes, I need those socks. So I ordered the sock yarn. And, you know, like I said, you know, that Nomadic Yarns takes about 6 weeks to get yarn mailed out. She's just very popular, has a lot going on. So, you know, if you order yarn from her, just make sure that you realize that it's going to be a little while, and that's okay. So that's Gilding the Lily. Future knitting. I have plans. I'm super excited. So I ordered last year, I ordered this yarn from Knit Picks. This is the Knit Picks Cotton in the eggplant colorway. Oh, look at that. I like that. This is 70% cotton, 30% linen. It's 123 yards and 50 grams. And oh, hello, I'm throwing it now. I was going to make a Hey Teach out of this, which is an older pattern out of Knitty, and I've changed my mind. I was kind of just piddling around on Ravelry and on Instagram, and I found a really beautiful pattern that I really decided that I love, and it is this. It is the Rose Trellis Shawl Vest. See that? I think that is really pretty. Now, it's shown in, which you can't see here because it's black and white, like a really pretty green color, but I'm going to be knitting it out of that purple, and I think it's going to be really lovely. It's by Vera Sanon, my good friend Vera, and I'm super excited to see how this turns out. I think it's gonna be really lovely, and I think that it's gonna be a lot of fun to knit. So it takes, they knitted out of Bright Olive. It's knitted out of the Ultra Pima yarn from Cascade, which is 100% Pima cotton, which is why I think that my Cotton is going to be especially lovely. And I think it's going to be great. I'm super excited. I'm looking through. It's mostly written out, but it does have a chart in case that's something that you're interested in, or is a requirement for you. It doesn't look like a terribly difficult pattern. It's just kind of long because of the written out pattern part. So there's that. Future knitting. I'm planning on starting this probably today or tomorrow. I'm not quite sure which. We'll see how much knitting I end up getting done with Evan getting his tonsils out. He is definitely a mama's boy. He needs his mama, and especially when he's sick, he gets very cuddly and clingy. So we'll see what happens with that. Could be interesting. Another thing that people wanted to know that I've turned into a new segment is people want to know, what do you watch? What do you listen to? So I started kind of books and TV with podcasts thrown in. So lately, Brian and I have been watching through Parks and Recreation on Netflix. That is a really fun show, and it has Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman in it. And if you've been watching their new show on cable, that's a lot of fun. I've heard a lot about it. I haven't watched it myself. I'm trying to think of what it's called. I don't remember. But this is the show that they started in first, and where they have this amazing rapport and this great kind of chemistry between them. Not like romantic chemistry, but just, like a working chemistry between them. That's so much fun. And, she is a idealistic government worker, and he's a libertarian that really thinks that like government shouldn't exist. Like, he just thinks it's all a waste. But yet he runs the parks department of the local government in Pawnee, Indiana. And it is so fun to see them kind of, work together, and, he just lets her do everything. Like, that's just basically it. He's just happy to sit around and watch it all happen. So that's what Brian and I have been watching in the evenings. Mom told me about a show called Father Brown. It's a British mystery show. And she told me about this years ago. And I was like, okay. I just wasn't really very interested. But, oh my gosh. I started watching it a couple weeks ago. I am in love. And the best part is, Father Brown is played by Arthur Weasley. I know he has a name. I just don't know what off the top of my head. But it's so fun to see him play a different part. And he is this just very... Oh, man. It is just an awesome show. It's based in the 50s. And so there's just, simpler times. And it's so fun to see them, him, kind of meddling and... solving crimes, and, I love his love for other people. Like, that is just the best part for me is, he just loves people, and honestly just cares, like it's not just about the mystery for him. It's about, making other people's lives better. So that's what I've been watching. What I've been listening to is I started listening to the That Sounds Fun podcast with Annie F. Downs, and she is a Christian speaker who just started a podcast. She is really into like the Enneagrams. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before, but it's like a personality profile kind of thing. And her profile is, she is just all about the fun. And so, like, she just, like, that's what she loves. She's a very joyful person. She talks with only people who she's friends with, or that she knows. So, like, she doesn't just talk to, like, random strangers or people that she's never talked to before, but people that she is friends with or wants to become friends with. And that is how I got introduced to the next podcast I've been listening to. It's called Up and Vanished. It is a true crime podcast, which is so funny coming from, a Christian speaker. You wouldn't think that necessarily those two things would go together, but they do, because Annie F. Downs loves this podcast. And I was like, well, if she likes it, maybe I would like it. And it's hosted by a gentleman named Payne Lindsay, and he's out of Atlanta, Georgia. And he is trying to help solve a mystery of a missing woman out of this town called Osceola, Georgia. And it is fascinating. Oh my goodness. I'm much more like a cozy mystery kind of person, but this really has me intrigued. And like, I listened to this for probably about 5 or 6 hours yesterday as I was driving back and forth places and doing things around the house. And it's just crazy. And like, I heard that they're still actively working this case now, and like more things are coming out. And so I'm like super excited to continue listening to it. Just so you know, this podcast, Up and Vanish, does have occasionally a little bit of language that is not censored. So if that's something that bothers you, maybe it's not the thing for you to listen to. It's not a lot of language, but there is some. I just wanted to put that out there. That Sounds Fun does not have any bad language whatsoever. Divergent series. I've been reading that. Ailish read the first book, and you know, we were talking about it, and I was like, well, you know, it's kind of, she's 11 and this is more like young adult. I want to make sure that it's appropriate for her. So I read the first book in like 2 days. And then I got the second book and started reading through it. And now I've purchased the third book, and I kind of put it down for a little while, but it's not difficult reading. It's just very involved. You know, like there's just a lot going on, a lot of people to keep track of, and a lot of things happening. So I need to finish the series because Ailish really wants to read it. I handed her the second book a few days ago. She wants to start reading it, and so I need to keep up with her because she's a very fast reader. So the first book, these are by Veronica Roth. The first book is called Divergent. The second is Insurgent, and the third is Allegiant. So there's that. I hope you find something that you are interested in any of those things. Okay. Let's talk about contests. I am so excited because the Festival Craft Along has like 65 entries now. So I am super excited. I think I'm going to throw in a second prize. Like there's going to be the grand prize winner who gets these sent home to them. These are the color concepts in the Highlands Moor colorway from 100th Sheep, which is 660 yards of a superwash merino Tessa silk blend. Beautiful. So this will be first place. I think second place is going to be something that I will find, maybe pull out of my stash or something. But beautiful. Whoever wins this is super lucky. The whole thought along this craft along is I would like for you to imagine that you are going to the festival of your dreams. Like a fiber festival. Maybe you're going to like a medieval festival. I don't know. What are you going to craft to go there? Like, what are you going to make that you would be very proud to show off there? So maybe you are going to like Rhinebeck or one of those places, and you want to have something that you finish to wear there. So knit, crochet, weave, sew, I don't know, maybe you work with leather on the side. Who knows? Maybe you're going to do something with that. But I want to make sure that you finish it before September 30th. That's when the contest ends. You can create more than one thing. We have some people that have knit or crocheted, like, you know, several things. Just make sure that you post each one in its own post in the finished object thread in my group on Ravelry. You can, if you started something 2 years ago and you want to finish it up, feel free. It's not something you have to start and finish within this time period. You just need to be a member of the Ravelry group to win, and winner will be chosen by random number generator. What else? Oh yeah, the YouTube contest. This is the last thing. I have a winner. Brian picked out the winner. He scrolled through and randomly picked one, and there you go. So our winner is Sylvia Derryberry. She said that she wanted to hear more about what books I'm reading or listening to. So Sylvia, I need you to email me or contact me on Ravelry to arrange to get your prize. This is your beautiful prize from the Yarn Lab UK. Look at that. It's a set of mini skeins. Isn't that pretty? You can contact me at briannekeen@gmail.com. That's BRIANNEKEENE@gmail.com. Or you can contact me on Ravelry as Being Brianne, BEING BRIANNE. So contact me and we will get this out to you. So Sylvia, I hope you enjoy your prize. That is it, my friends. I feel like I've done a lot of talking. I'm so glad I brought water over because, oh my goodness, so much talking. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful time, a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, wonderful week. And I will see you guys later. And hopefully by the time I see you next time, Evan will be tonsil free and adenoid free and doing a lot better and ready to go back to school, and hopefully back in school. He should be missing about a week. We'll see. But anyways, I will see you guys later. But until then, remember that you are knitworthy. Bye, my friends.